I've been under the weather for the past week or so I'm a little stuffy in this video. But it's great to get back in the shop, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make a simple vise for your shop, especially if you don't have the space or workbench. These things are super handy to have, and this is a quick and simple DIY version. Now as we get started, I'll head over to the table saw and rip these pieces down to the desired width. All of these parts were used from pieces of plywood I had laying around the shop. I ripped the pieces for the jaw first, which I needed 2 identical pieces. The next thing I needed to do was rip the base. I then took the parts over to the miter saw, which I used that to then cut those to the final length. The next stop would be over at the router table while we use a radius jig to make a round corner. The radius jig definitely made this a little easier and more accurate, but you can totally use a jigsaw to round this over. On one side of the jaw, I need to round out a dado slot. This will need to be equal to the thickness of the plywood that will be used for the base. The plywood I'm using is a bit thinner than 3/4 of an inch. I didn't have a router bit that was the same thickness of the plywood I wanted to use. So what I did was use a bit that was a bit smaller, and then I snuck up on it till I got it right. Ideally, you'll want a snug fit, but not tight to the point that you have to hammer it in. Just make sure you have enough room for wood glue to get between. To accurately route the slots in the jaw to accept the clamps, I placed the stop block on the back side of the router bit, which is a piece of plywood, but when you pass the plywood through the router bit, it should then stop on the block, and we can flip the plywood around and repeat this step until we go all the way through. So if a router is just not your thing at this point in the game, an alternative to this is you can always use dowels and drill those in, or you can use pocket hole screws, or if you just want to keep it down and dirty, you can just go with simple exposed screws. Just make sure you countersink them into the face of the wood. And this took about 3 passes to get all the way through. There's a total of 5 pieces in this build: the front and back jaw, the base, and also the 2 back supports. Once all those pieces were cut down to size, rounded over and everything, it was time to sand it down and put it all together. From here on out, things should go pretty quick, so go ahead and apply wood glue down inside the dado, spread it in the slot as best as you could, and then place the base inside the slot. Now, because of the bar clamp I use here, the swivel head on it, I'm pretty sure allowed that to favor one side, keeping things out of square. Had I thought about this at the time, I could have used a clamp with a fixed head. If you guys remember these right hand jig that was in the tips and tricks video, then you know these can be very handy, and they actually worked out great here. Now that the glue is dried, the base is all set, so I'm now going to take the biggest set of bar clamps I have that fit into these slots and mark them. These marks should let me know that I should not bring the back support beyond these marks. Now I could nail or screw these pieces in place, but I'm going to try my luck with just applying wood glue, and I think that should do the trick. So here I have 4 different types of bar clamps, and they all work. I also had some T-slot bolts on hand, and I wanted to try these and see if they work, and they actually worked out pretty nice. Not only are they great for storing the vise, but they also work as the clamping mechanism for the vise. Not only is this a quick project, but it's a great solution for just about any shop, and it's perfect for on the go. If you use regular plywood for this, a single sheet would more than likely bow over time, which is not the end of the world because you can always flip this around. And for demonstrational purpose, here's a sample of me putting this to work. Let's assume you have the tools and you have scrap wood laying around. This would cost you nothing extra to make one of these. And if you don't have scrap wood laying around, for a sheet of plywood, you can probably go out and spend around 25 bucks to make one of these. Now you can use any lumber you choose. Plywood just happened to be one of the things that I had laying around in the shop. So the end goal here is you can use just about any surface and clamp this onto it. No matter if it's a workbench, a table saw, a countertop, whatever you think of, a desk, simply clamp this onto a surface of your choice and get to work. I hope you guys find this video very helpful. I'm going to take some time to learn how to perfect my chisel work. Overall, I think this came out great, and for what it is, I think it does its job. I have a lot of tools in my shop, and one of the things I'm missing is a proper workbench. Since I haven't quite figured out my workflow and how I want to operate in this shop, I don't want to bring in something so big and space demanding without knowing exactly what I want. So a little quick build like this can be a temporary fix and give me some of those things that you would need in a full workshop. I take on a variety of projects, so space is a premium for me around here. Alright guys, I'm your host Glenn on DIY Creators, and thank you guys for watching this video. If you're new around here, be sure to subscribe to this channel, turn on your bell notification so that you get notified when I upload a new video. Until next time, I'll see you.